Hi everyone, welcome to our very last watercolor project, project number 6. This week we are making a watercolor collage, and this is a great way to end this program because this project really allows you to be very creative. Everybody's is going to look very different. And we also get to use kind of all the techniques that we've learned in the previous weeks and use them on this project. So your package this week had a couple of pieces of paper this size and then a couple like odds and ends scrap pieces left over from other projects that we'll be able to use for this one. Also a piece of cardstock and a white crayon. I had mentioned in a previous video that if you draw with white crayon before you paint with watercolors, it gives you a cool effect because the paint doesn't stick wherever you draw with the crayon, so it leaves that part white, so you can do really cool things with that. For this one, you might also want to use the plastic wrap or the salt to get some other cool effects. Because basically what we're going to do is paint all over these pieces however you want to, use the effects, any colors, and then when it's dry we're going to be cutting this up and gluing it onto the cardstock. So you might want to think ahead of time about your design if you're going to want more angular shapes, squares and triangles, or maybe circles or hearts or flowers, whatever kind of shape that you want to do. You can also cut the cardstock in half or any way you want if that better suits your design. You can even sketch out your design ahead of time where you want to place the shapes, or you can just wing it. Totally up to you, however you work best. So let's get started. So there are really no rules with this project. You can do whatever you want. Everything's gonna get cut up anyway, so if there's an area that gets smudged or you don't like how it turns out, don't worry about it. You can just not use that part in your final collage. So I am just making little lines with a white crayon to make a cool pattern underneath. And you never really know how it's gonna turn out because you can't see it, but that's okay. Okay, and then I'm gonna go over it with some color. I think I'm just gonna blend a couple colors together. Start off with some water and then add the color. And you can see how the paint is not sticking to the crayon marks. And I'm gonna cover this area with salt because it's my favorite. I just think it looks so cool. Okay. And maybe for the other half of the paper, I'll do some stripes. Oh, there's a little bit of the crayon over here too. I mean, you can really do whatever you want on this paper. So I'm gonna keep working on this and I will show you when I'm done. Okay, here are my paintings. And I know they look like a real hot mess right now, but once we start cutting things out and putting them on the paper, it will all start coming together. So I cut my cardstock in half because I'm going to make 2 smaller collages, and I have scissors, I have a hole punch, which I think would be cool to make some holes in some of these, and I have a couple of round objects that I can trace. It's easier for me to cut everything out. So I'm gonna start cutting these up and then I'll show you what I have. So here they are all cut up, and I'm still trying to piece together how I want them to be on the cardstock. So it's kind of like a puzzle, how they're gonna all fit together. But I really like how they look when you cut them out. They kind of look like a big jumbled mess when it's on the paper before you cut them into shapes. But once you do that, I think they look really cool on their own. And they have a lot of different colors, and I like the ones where they have the 2 different patterns or 2 different techniques on the same one. I think that looks pretty cool. So I'm going to keep playing around with this one. But another one that I put together is right here, where I cut everything into little triangles. And I think that is cool because you can see all the different textures and patterns, and I used some, like mostly all blue and purple and green, but then I put a few pieces throughout it with red that kind of tie it together, which I like. So I think I'm going to glue this one down and keep working on this one. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who participated in this program. I hope everybody had fun. I really loved making these videos for you every week, and I'm looking forward to the fall and winter because I have a lot more arts and crafts programs planned for you. So be sure to keep checking Lebanon Life or our website or Facebook page to see what we're going to be doing, and I hope you'll join me.